Hello everyone, we're in chapter 4 of Awayuki, Floating Bubbles. We're playing Illusions of Itehari today. Before I start, let me get my choices up. I know there will be some. It's been 10 days since my last upload, or I think 11 now. There's just so many things going on at once. I'm playing 2 games and I'm doing Love and Deep Space now, so my time is divided and I probably shouldn't have done that. But the the banner for Love and Deep Space just came out at a really inconvenient time because it's probably my favorite theme that has ever occurred in this game. So I just couldn't not sit still and not do not I've been thinking about doing reactions from the beginning, so not starting now seemed like it was going to be a huge missed opportunity for me. So I did it anyway. And luckily the banner goes long enough to where I can space out those videos and not feel rushed to get them completed so I can also focus on these other 2 games. And then my husband last night brought up a realization for me. He's like, if you upload every 10 days, that means that with 10 chapters each, which I don't think they have 10. Um there's 8 chapters plus an ending. So there's 9 episodes each, I guess. With 9 episodes each at 10 days in between, he was like, you're going to get 3 love interests done in a year. I'm like, whoa, a year? I don't want to spend another year on this game. Like, I want to get it out because I want to take a break from the Otome genre and just do a little bit of Love and Deep Space until there's like an Otome game that I desperately want to play so I stay invested and involved in it. Illusions of Itehari is a pretty good one for me. I feel myself being invested in it, but I think I think the reason why I don't upload as often is because I have other things dragging me down like Battlefield Waltz. It's not as interesting as this, so it's hard for me to get those put out, which puts a backlog on this one because I feel like I have to alternate to make sure they're both paid attention to equally for the audience that I have, because I have people that are interested in both still. Uh, but that's the problem I'm facing right now. Other than that, I feel like I kind of feel like I just want to bulldoze through Battlefield Waltz and get it all out, but I don't want to neglect this one either because I really enjoy this one. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and alternating. We try to get them alternated less than 10 days apart. I really don't want to only be halfway done with this game in a year because he said 3 love interests in a year. So I mean that they I would get an interest, so I would get a route done like every 3 months. And there's 6 characters. There's 6. There's 5. 1, 2, 3. There's 5 characters in this one, and there's 6 in Battlefield Waltz, which Battlefield Waltz is already halfway done because I've already done 3. Still waiting on the to do the endings, but I'm going to record after this. Instead of recording last night, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to record this. Then I'm going to record Battlefield Waltz and start getting them edited. And then I'll be working on my special Zane edit that I teased about in my comments or in my posts. Anyway, um, so Hinagiku has asserted herself and told Awayuki that she wants him at the festival, and I think he's realizing her feelings because now he's pushing her away. He confessed to her, but she didn't remember because she was drunk. So there's that. And I don't know, like I feel like that because he loves her, that it's got to pain him to see her upset, right? So he's going to cave in eventually, I hope. Because if you love someone, you don't want to see them sad. And I feel like that she is his everything right now. So hopefully this doesn't prolong very much longer. Because I don't like when roots do this where halfway through the route they push each other away and then they take forever to get back together. Um anyway, but she told her friends how she felt about him. Sorry, that was like 5 minutes of rambling now. Anyway, unable to bring myself to enjoy the Lantern Festival, I headed straight back from Hanagetsu to the mansion. No, she didn't even go. Tsuyakusa was walking me home as always, and we passed through the central district, now bustling and cheery with the festival going on. It really made me happy that everyone listened to how I was feeling and didn't deny me any of it. Aw. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I forgot his name. The red-haired guy. What's his name? I forgot. Whatever. Anyway, he was like, "Are you prepared to come with the consequences of what loving your servant's going to be? Because you're not allowed to marry a servant. You're a noblewoman." But the fact that they supported her, that makes me happy.
ちょうど例の事件も落ち着いてる。姫さんは今のうちに、てめえの身の振り方をよく考えとけ。
Yeah, Tobari. He's the one that said that.
こっちも引き続き探る予定だが、幻冬祭の間は、Itehari全体が世話しない。動きがあるとしたら、終わってからだろう。
That way they're escorting her back. I wouldn't have been surprised if they called me crazy for falling in love with a commoner like Awayuki. I felt they were also mature for not trying to ignore my feelings and letting me make my own decision. Say, Tsuyukusa.
Hmm?
Doesn't this lantern festival seem a bit too quiet compared to past years?
店の数は同じくらい出てると思うけど、まあどうしてもね。
There was the sending off of the lanterns on the 6th day, and every year it was the most festive of the entire festival. Everyone's smile seemed to be a bit subdued. The incidents seemed to take the life out of everyone, casting a shadow over the festivities. I know, like people burning alive, like I would too. I know you. You were talking to someone. I think someone important too. I was looking around as we walked through the crowded street and only noticed the person right in front of me at the very last moment. I panicked, tried to get out of the way, and he stepped toward the same direction. Oh, excuse me. You want to collide into him?
Yeah.
He looked down at me, almost disinterested in what he saw when... Oh, he just recognized her. In the next instant, the expression on his face changed drastically. Man, this is the problem with uploading so far in between. I don't remember what he said to the person when they were talking. I think it regarded her, though. His eyes were fixed beside me at Tsuyakusa. Oh? Is something the matter?
いえ、申し訳ありません。知り合いによく似ていたので。勘違いでした。申し訳ありません。
I think you're lying. He looked almost terrified as he bowed deeply to us.
Hinagiku, 早く行こ
う。Sure. I wonder if he recognizes him too. Tsuyakusa urged me on and I continued to walk off. Are you sure?
何が？俺は知らない顔だったよ。気にすることないって。
As we walked off, I looked back, and the young man was still standing where he was, gazing at us as we departed. Suspicious. Right as we crossed into the castle district, I bid farewell to Tsuyakusa and continued down the road alone. How am I supposed to face Awayuki? I felt myself growing more and more uneasy as I approached the house. Maybe I should try going to the square, right? I'm out here already anyway. I decided to take a detour heading towards the public square where people had gathered. You're gonna run into Yori, I just know it. It seemed at least in this spot there were many people gathered as any other year. As I listened to the busy noises of the people, I walked along with the flow of the crowd without any objective in particular. You're gonna run into one of them. Hopefully it's Awayuki. That's right. When I was little, I tended to get lost in the square, and then Awayuki would find me. The memories of the Lantern Festival were mostly memories with Awayuki. There were many times I thought he was being overprotective, but at the thought of not being with him, I feel so lonely. I stopped myself, catching the sudden glint of light at the corner of my eye. At a stall where several Netsuke and beautiful sash clips on display. What is this? Fastener meant for hanging cases and pouches off of one's sash. Oh. That's cute. This would look good on Awayuki. Oh, she's gonna buy him a gift. What caught my eye was a Natsuki with a pattern of snow crystals on it. The way the silver-white pattern showed in silence reminded me of him. I would normally have bought it without thinking and given it to Awayuki, but... Do it! Do it, please! I wonder if he would just be troubled if I gave it to him now. Probably. And would it give away the fact that I love Awayuki? He already knows, girl. Like, come on. I had never been able to hide anything from Awayuki, so I was sure he would be able to see through my feelings right away. What should I do? What if will he be troubled by it? Will he? Won't he? Oh my goodness, she's having trouble. I don't think Awayuki dislikes me or anything, but he probably just didn't see me in that way. It just wasn't a feeling that should exist between a mistress and their attendant. But I could at least offer a gift. Do it! Chapter 4. Before we're doing buy it, but first we're gonna say don't buy it. Even if I bought it, I couldn't give it to him. Pretending I didn't see it, I quickly passed by the stall. I had returned home. Okay, I think it's safe to go up. Okay, I'm gonna buy it for him. Making my decision, I approached the stall. I had returned home. Okay, that was anticlimactic, wasn't it? It seemed that Awayuki happened to be out at the moment. Oh? Did he say he was... He did say he was busy. Maybe he's out in the serf quarter, but... There were, of course, the occasions when Awayuki would go out alone when I wasn't around. However, he always came home before I did and greeted me upon my return. I was beginning to feel uneasy from Awayuki's absence. I wonder when he'll be back. As I paced the corridors nervously awaiting his return. There he is.
こんなところで何してるんだ?
Oh, welcome back, Awayuki. I gave a start at his unexpected appearance, but quickly collected myself. Awayuki furrowed his brow, possibly sensing something was off.
姫.
Yes?
今度は何したんだ? 怒らないから言ってみろ. 早く自白した方が罪は軽くなるぞ.
The lighter your sentence will be. That's funny. What did you do? Tell me. It's nothing like that. I haven't done anything to deserve a scolding, I think, for today at least. Without much thought about it, Awayuki brought his face close to mine, peered into my eyes. He's so close. I would never have thought anything of our close proximity in the past, but now that I had discovered my true feelings, it was far too much stimulation.
ま、いいか。もう夕食にするだろ? すぐ準備するから、先に行っててくれ。
Give it to him. Wait, Awayuki.
どうした? やっぱり何かあるのか?
Well, from deep in my ears I could hear my heart beating. I bought a Natsuke at the Lantern Festival today. I thought it would look good on you, Awayuki. She's rehearsing it. I could just tell him about it in the way I always did. I'm really hungry today. I feel like eating a lot.
はいはい。まあ、ほどほどにな。
That's funny. She's going to give it to him later in the chapter, isn't she? Unable to bring up what I really wanted to, I simply watched Awayuki as he walked off. I knew I wanted to talk to him, but once we were face to face, I found myself suddenly unable to do anything that came so naturally before. I couldn't even remember what sort of look I normally had on my face or my tone of voice when I spoke to him. Thinking of Awayuki brought back an old memory back to me. Oh. When I was around 8 years old, the mansion of the Eastern Fifth had completely burned down. My parents didn't make it out in time and lost their lives. Most of the servants were burned or injured and had to leave their positions at the house. I don't remember that night very well. But the one thing I could remember clearly was how the tall red flames were so terrifying. And then, I also vaguely remembered that the one who got me out of the fire was none other than Awayuki. After the fire, Awayuki always stayed by my side. He was there as my attendant, at times protecting me like an older brother and guiding me as well. I was always talking about the outside world and asking him if we could go there sometime, so Awayuki made a promise to me.
もし、姫が俺の願いを叶えてくれるなら、代わりに、大人になったら、俺が姫を、外の世界に連れて行く。
To Awayuki, it must have been nothing. Just a simple thing to say in the moment to get me to behave again. But I treasured what he said. Every time how I remembered my interest in the outside world was considered unusual and strange. His promise to me on that day gave my heart courage. I know it isn't easy to be able to go to the surface, but even if it was a promise that would never be fulfilled, I wanted him to at least remember it still. I wanted him to cherish that memory just like I had. And the reason I felt that way must be because I loved Awayuki. In the next morning, still have it. Awayuki woke me as usual, helping me tie my hair to get ready, and even through breakfast, I still couldn't speak to him like normal.
姫、どこも痛くないか？熱は？
No, I'm fine. Why do you ask?
嫌に静かだろう。あ、昨日露店で買い食いでもしすぎたんじゃ。
No, I didn't. I felt he would start picking up on things if he kept pressing me, so I changed the subject. By the way, where did you go off to yesterday? You were late coming home.
ああ、まあ、いろいろ片付けてた。
What were you really doing, though? I see. The conversation ended, going nowhere else. After some hesitation, I brought up the topic that was on my mind. Hey, Awayuki, today's the last day of the Lantern Festival, isn't it?
出かけるのか？
Yes, I was thinking of going to see the Great Taiju service since I haven't in so long, but would you like to join me, Awayuki?
俺は。
Even without hearing his reply, I already felt like he was about to decline. I mean, it'll be really crowded and all. I might get lost if I went alone. I'm sure I'm worried. Okay. I sure am worried. Oh, okay. I'd be so much more at ease if my dependable attendant would come with me. Awayuki gave a faint smile and spoke in a teasing manner.
普段は一人で出かけたがるくせに、どういう心境の変化なんだ？俺だって、昼間の外出にいちいち目くじらを立てたりしない。気にせず行ってこい。
Awayuki.
最近ちょっと過保護すぎたかもって、反省してたんだ。お前ももう大人なのに、あれこれうるさく言われて、嫌だったろ。
No, you're being overprotective is only because you care. Something I'm used to. You've always been with me, haven't you? I'm used to it, so I don't mind.
そうか。
Yes. If you're really as worried as you say you are, I prefer if you come with me. I tried my best to sound normal, but my voice ended up trailing off towards the end. Awayuki closed his mouth as if pausing to think over his answer. A few seconds later, he replied with a grimace on his face.
いけない。
Aww. He wants so desperately to go, and he's just like, I can't. I have to separate myself from you. I think he knows that Yori will dismiss him once they're married. Awayuki was my attendant, and I was his mistress. I knew that if I commanded him to do so, he would obey me. But, alright. I was the one who gave in today. I didn't want to force him into anything, so because he insisted on declining my request, I had no choice but to give up. That's so sad. Hopefully he actually goes when she says yes. I recognized that the last one that was completely different, there was a CG attached to it and everything, so hopefully, please come with us, only because you care. only because you care about me, right? It came so naturally to me that I answered him without the feeling of nervousness from before. I can't say I've never thought you were overbearing at times, but you're always thinking of me over everything else, Awayuki, and for that I'm so thankful.
Ah.
He answered, his voice a bit stiff, and then spoke again as he gave me a serious look.
俺は従者として、ただ一人の姫にこの命を捧げると決めている。お前のためにならないことはしない。絶対に、だ。
I knew what he felt wasn't something that appeared just now. He had proved it all these years we were together. Yet he spoke it aloud with his own words. I thought my heart would stop. Suddenly, Awayuki looked down and murmured,
けど、だからこそ、今日はいけない。
Why not? Okay, I'm just gonna skip ahead then. If I can find the right button. I tried to skip ahead and it was skipping unread content. I'm like, why would you do this? How do I change that, by the way? Like, now next time I do it, it won't skip all the unread content. Okay, I left home in time to make it to the noon service. I ended up unable to give him the Netsuge from yesterday. No! Why? Why not? You have to give it to him. There was already a crowd of people gathered at the square. For most people, the only time they could witness the Great Taiju in person was during the service, performed on the 7th day of the Lantern Festival every year. Still, it was unusual how incredibly crowded it was. There might be more people here from yesterday, and maybe it's because of the recent incidents. There may be more people these days wanting to rely on the Great Taiju's power. As I stood there and thought, a familiar voice called out to me,
Hinagiku.
Who are you? Oh, I know you. Lord Swapiki. I wish he was a character. I would like him as a love interest. He must have been one of the officers sent here as security for the service. After I noticed him, Lord Swapiki narrowed his eyes, his face relaxing into a faint smile. Then, after a quick glance around me, he furrowed his brow in confusion.
今日はお一人で?
Yeah, our servant refused to come with us. Yes.
そうですか。
I could understand Lord Swabiki's surprise, as it was unusual for a noble to attend the event alone. After a few seconds of silent thought, he seemed to make a decision and spoke.
何かありましたか? 今日は少し表情が硬いように見えます。声もいくらかこわばっている。何かあればいつでも声をかけてほしいと告げたのは紛れもない本心です。
Oh, you want her to rely on you?
俺は器用ではないし、すべての悩みを解決できるという保証はありませんが、それでもあなたの力になれたらと願ってやみません。
Oh, that's so sweet of him. Thank you very much. You're very kind, Lord Swabiki. I mean, I would probably go to... If he said that to me, I would probably tell him my worries and see what he thought. After I gave my thanks, I noticed his countenance shift into a troubled expression. I only wish Yori was as kind as you.
弟が何かご迷惑を。
Does she know their brothers about... I bet she knows now, though. Or, well... Could it be that Lord Swabiki doesn't know about the engagement? But because I haven't given Yori my answer yet, the engagement hasn't been confirmed. Could it be that his brothers still hasn't been told? But the head of the Western Second had been bedridden for a while. Lord Swabiki had been taking care of those duties in his place. It's hard to believe Lord Swabiki wouldn't have been consulted. As I thought to myself, unsure of what to say next, a wild cheer rose up from the crowd gathered at the square.
Taiju-sama! Taiju-sama da!
He's covered in robes. He was a regal figure clad in white robes. It was custom for him to hide his face with his head ornament. Only a very small handful of statesmen permitted into the sanctum knew what he truly looked like. Bright sunlight shone down upon the living god as he approached the podium. Everyone bearing witness to the sight looked up at him with a reverent awe. That's when it happened. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. That sounded like a time bomb. What was that sound? Suddenly, shouts erupted from the crowd of people. Oh. Oh my goodness.
Higa!
Are more than one person catching on fire? I could see multiple glows of red from within the crowd. Here in the congested square, multiple people were burning all at the same time. The serenity of the service had disappeared completely, turning into a scene of screams of terror. Great Taiju. I looked up at the altar and saw that fortunately there seemed to be no signs of fire at all. Just staring at it. In their panic, those who were burning flailed about, touching those around them, igniting them and spreading the new flames. Oh my goodness. Awayuki's going to regret not coming today. Lord Swabiki pushed through the panicked crowd, quickly pushing down one of the burning people. However, that alone didn't stop the flames. Ah! Uh-oh. Fell back onto my bottom, and as I scrambled to stand... Uh-oh. Right in front of me was yet another person who had been caught in flames. No. My legs were weak, my feet slipping across the ground as I tried to kick off of it. I was able to breathe, let alone stand. Is she gonna catch on fire? No, don't come this way. The flames licked away at the people. I could hear only their horrible screams, pleading for help and losing all hope as their lives were consumed by flames. I could feel the seal on my memories from that night about to break open. That night. No! My throat squeezed tight, silencing me. Tears clouded my vision, and I found my mind going blank, unable to think. Another person was engulfed in flames, screaming in agony as he reached his arm out for help. The smell of people burning. The moment didn't last even a second. It looked as if the swaying wall of crimson fire that approached me froze in time. Just then, who's got her? Someone's got her. My body was suddenly lifted into the air. Who is it? Please tell me. When I finally realized I was being carried, I was already separated from the burning people. Yes, I knew it. Awayuki? I'm glad he came. I'm glad it wasn't Swabiki, even though I like him a lot. Within my chest, the desire to ask him why he was here mixed with my relief that he had saved me. But what immediately came out of my mouth was... the others. First we're going to say the Great Taiju. Awayuki, we have to protect the Great Taiju. The Great Taiju was the sanctuary for people's hearts. One could say he was essentially the heart of Itehari itself. If anything were to happen to him in this chaos... I shouted out in my panic and haste, and as I looked back, I saw Awayuki with his brows tightly furrowed.
そんなこと考えなくていい。あの方には禁じがついてる。連中に任せとけ。
The words he spat out could have been treated as blasphemy and a crime by anyone who heard him. I wonder if he dislikes the Great Taiju, and he's just been hiding it this whole time. Awayuki took me away from the square, which was still roaring with screams. Okay, I think I could go back. We're in story mode now. The others. Awayuki, we need to save the others.
Huh?
Huh? He wrinkled his brow aggressively. I was sure he wanted to just take me away from the square as quickly as possible. I looked into it, how to put out the fires. Did?
無理だ。こんな状況で何ができる?
I know, so many people are burning. What are you gonna do? I know it'll be difficult, but nothing about this will get better if you run away.
けどお前、火は怖いだろ。
She was a moment ago, but I guess now that he's here, she has courage. Something happened to her in the past. Oh, that night. Duh, her family literally burned to death. Sorry, I'm a little slow sometimes. I was. My legs were frozen even now. I was so afraid I could feel myself on the verge of tears, but I felt as if I could make it through this because Awayuki was with me. Times like these are when a noble must fight for her people. This is my duty.
お前がやらなくても黒鶴がやる。他の人間もいる。ここで逃げても誰かが。
No, Awayuki. I grabbed hold of his hand and looked into his eyes. Even if someone else might, I'm still going to help. We need as many people as we can right now, besides. I looked around the square as I spoke to see the altar at its center completely vacant. It seemed as though the Great Taiju and his attendants had already fled. That's a relief. The Kurozuru didn't seem to have control of the situation. There were just too many people compared to the number of officers. Their commands were probably drowned out by the sounds of all the screams.
姫。
With a look in his eyes, more serious than ever, he glared at me and asked a question.
どうしたいんだ
I want to go to the altar.
限界だと思ったら、問答無用で離脱するからな。
No questions. Still carrying me, he rushed towards the empty altar. Staying calm, I took a deep breath and grabbed hold of the machine that was set up for the sermon. This is the head of the Eastern Fifth addressing everyone present. She's like making a speech while everyone's on fire. At that moment, my voice was sent across the square throughout the acoustic converter, a mechanical device that amplifies the sound of one's voice and conveys it across a wide area. Itehari was a society of a strict hierarchical order that took some effort. The name of the Eastern Fifth had the strength to direct the people. Cover the flames with any clothes or cloaks you have, hurry! Even if they didn't believe me, the ones who could refuse to obey me were nobles of equal or greater rank than myself. If the flames continued to spread, the Great Taiju himself could be in danger. We must work together to protect the Great Taiju. He was the sanctuary for the hearts of people in Itehari. At the mention of his name, the chaos subsided just a bit.
そうだ。大樹様のために。
私たちがやらなくちゃ。
The people running away to protect themselves turned back around in order to put out the flames that ravished Itehari. Yay. Oh my goodness, you're here.
すごいじゃん、東郷の姫。お手柄お手柄。大活躍だったんだって。
The chaos had subsided, and those left in the square were a few nobles. The most people left the area for questioning by the Kurozuru. Those injured were sent off to medical facilities under the direction of the Kurozuru. Oh, I'm sorry.
Eh?
That's funny. Thinking of his position, I felt embarrassed as though it wasn't my place to restore order. I wasn't trying to take over, but it was all I could think of in the moment.
からたち元帥。
ああ、つばぶき。
あんな出来事が起きた直後です。彼女を困らせるような振る舞いは慎んでください。
え？小生本当に何もしてないけど？まあでも、甘んじてそしりを受けちゃう。つばぶきも頑張ったみたいだしね。長女。
I forgot who he is in the order of people, but their father is ill, but I think they're of the same district, right?
いえ。
I think. Oh, okay. He's not a noble, right? He's just the general of them. Lord Swabiki's eyes closed, offering only a short reply. Most of the officers who were assigned to security duty were positioned in a formation surrounding the square. I heard because of that it was extremely difficult for them to reach the fires that erupted in the middle of the crowd.
大樹様はすでに禁域へ。
そうそう。ことが起きたのと同時に連れ帰りました。今頃榊殿と金次たちに囲まれてるはずだよ。んで、被害のほどは？
家屋への延焼は起きていません。ですが、最初に燃え始めた者たちなどは、火傷が深く、救助が間に合いませんでした。また、避難の際に将棋倒しが発生し、負傷者も出ています。 思いがけず人を潰して傷つけることになってしまった者たちの中から、めまい、嘔吐などの症状が出ています。
わかるよ。その気はなくても人に怪我させちゃったら嫌だもんね。とにかく、大将ありがとう。申し分なし。起きたことに対して最上級の結果だよ。
He seems way too happy about the situation.
人々を落ち着かせてくれたひなぎく城には、心より感謝しています。
Oh no, it was nothing.
東郷の当主殿は照れ屋さんだな。じゃあ、小生たちは仕事の続きしよっか。
After Lord Karachi got his last word, we began walking off, with the Lord Swabiki giving me a quick bow before chasing after him. After watching them depart, I finally found myself able to breathe again.
あれはちょっとびっくりしたよな。うちの姫、貴族らしいことできたんだって。
Stop it. Awayuki watched me and smiled softly as I hid my reddening face in my hands.
お見事でした、姫。
Thank you, but it was all because you were by my side, Awayuki. Oh, there's no story time? Do we get story time later? Do I need to go back here and read story time? I'm gonna pause it for right here, and I'm gonna go back and read story time real quick. Okay, let's read the rest of this one. Those injured during the chaos at the sermon were staggering in number. Not only were there victims who died from being burned, but many who were injured from being trampled as well. There were some more who fell ill from being exposed to the gruesome sight, even without being injured themselves. Among them, I heard some were screaming and crying as if they had gone insane, others fainted at the scene. The next day came after the horrendous close of the Lantern Festival. I'm so confused. Which way should I keep going? Should I keep going down this one, or the other one is still at the end of the night? So let's go back to that one, and maybe it'll meet up now. Okay. The skies were completely dark by the time I got back to the mansion. With our familiar home in sight, the strain on my nerves from the beginning of the sermon finally began to fade away.
姫。
Not heading inside right away, Awayuki stopped and looked at me. What is it?
悪かった。変に意地を張らないで、最初からお前についていけばよかった。
I thought back to how surprised I was, wondering what Awayuki was doing at the square. Could it be that you came after me? Oh. It's because you came for me that I wasn't hurt, Awayuki. Thank you.
けど、怖い思いはしただろ。
Of course she was. You didn't see her cowering on the floor? It was the first time I saw Awayuki look so sad. See, he does care. It pains him to see her sad. So stop being so stubborn, man. He looked even more hurt than I felt during the anger. Unable to leave him alone in that state, I reached my hand out to him. Aww, what's the CG going to be? Oh, she's gonna pat him on the head. So cute. He's scratching the back of his neck in embarrassment. I'm all right now. I ran my hands through his neat and tidy hair, but its color reminding me of the rarest, purest snow. She's so pretty. This is adorable. I love this image so much. I'm grateful to you, Awayuki. You're my precious, dependable, and perfect attendant. I hope we can stay together forever, no matter what happens now or in the future. Aww. That means even if she marries Yori, which means stop being so stubborn and just stay with her. Awayuki stayed still, letting me hold him. Normally he would be the one cheering me up in this manner. The way he normally is, or when he isn't quite himself, even how he looks when he acts in any decisive moment. You know, Awayuki, I love you. I'm sure that's only troublesome to you coming from me, but I'm not expecting anything from you in telling you this. Though my feelings of love for him were true, the words I followed them with were a lie. Okay, let me reread them then. I'm not expecting anything from you. Love me back. Awayuki is mine, but that's not all. I wanted all of him. I wanted all of him to be mine. Oh, I wanted all of Awayuki, not just as my attendant. Sigh. She wants all of you. Awayuki slowly shifted away from me, separating himself from my hand that was brushing across his head as well.
はいはい。俺も好きですよ、姫。いつも感謝してます。
He's brushing it off as a love of affection and not that she is actually in love with him. Awayuki replying in the same Awayuki smiled, replying in a casual tone as if we were bantering together like always. Huh? It seemed my honest confession to him was dismissed as a silly joke. Of course I knew Awayuki didn't see me in the same way, but there was a pain in my chest as if something was squeezing tightly around my heart. Is that it? No. Tell him, girl, give him the gift. I'm so annoyed. You have no idea. The next day came after the horrendous close of the Lantern Festival. An uninvited guest arrived at the mansion of the Eastern Fifth. I know who it is, right? Behind my usual seat was Awayuki standing beside me as always. The one in front of us was...
朝早くからすみません、東郷の姫。
It's not who I thought it was, but it's still associated with him. Yori's aide bowed his head, seemingly not apologetic at all.
今度こそ先触れを出したりとかしたかったんすけど、緊急なもんで。俺も本当ならこんな時間から働きたくないんすけど、長官が怖くて。Hinagiku様も見ればわかりますよね。あの人の趣味は重箱の隅をつつくことだって。
Man's hobby is nitpicking. I forgot to hit the unpause button, but luckily I noticed it early, so I didn't have to go back very far. The family of the Eastern Fifth is willing to cooperate with the Kurozuru as best we can. What matters do you have for us today?
まず確認したいんすけど、昨日、東郷の姫は祭祀の広場に行きました？
Yes.
その時、そこの従者の彼は？
Yes, he was with me. Not having any reason to hide the truth, I replied honestly.
本当に？屋敷を出た時から屋敷に戻るまでずっと一緒でした？
I know this person is not going to accuse him, right? I arrived at the square before Awayuki, and he arrived right after the sermon began. We were together the entire time on the way back.
へえ。
He narrowed his eyes as if closing in on a thought he had.
事件が起きる前、そいつが何をしてたのかはご存じないってわけっすね。じゃあ、祭祀の直前まで主人のそばを離れてたのはどういうわけ？
Jiro turned his gaze to Awayuki. His manner of speaking resembled that of his superior Yori.
屋敷で仕事をしていました。
具体的に言ってくれる？仕事って？
雑務です。姫のための食事の用意と、それから部屋の掃除をする予定でした。
予定？
祭祀の時間が近づいていたので、様子を見に行こうかと。掃除は中断して広場に。
それを証明できる人は？ああ、もちろん東郷の使用人以外がいいな。知り合いだと何かとかばっちゃったり口裏合わせたりしやすいもんね。
Wait. My unease was growing as I listened to Ajiro's line of questioning. Are you suspecting my attendant?
いや、今回の事件はどうにも謎が多くて。
He offered a seemingly harmless smile. However, his eyes had not an inkling of any similar sentiment.
調べれば調べるほど思うんすけど、こんな真似、普通の人間にはできないでしょ。
And Awayuki has proven that he is not a normal person.
技術なり道具なりって話でもあるんすけど、それ以上にこのいてはりで人を害そうなんて思えるのはまともじゃない人間だけ。
I could agree with part of what Ajiro was saying. The act of willingly hurting someone was something a normal person couldn't do. If that's the case, why would my servant be held under suspicion?
だって経歴が経歴じゃないっすか。
What history? He spoke as if it was so obvious that I should have thought of it, and I replied, "What history, right?" First, we're gonna say what history. What do you mean by his history? I thought he had been with the Eastern Fifth ever since I was born. I looked up at him, but he didn't say anything.
大事なご主人様にも教えてないんすか？怪しいな。
Ajiro's lips twisted in a smile.
ご存知かどうかわかりませんけど、実は祭祀の日だけじゃなくて、その前日。
And I know this is where it comes back because I've already played through this, so. I know, he hasn't told us anything about himself. I'm gonna say Awayuki would never. I didn't know if there was anything suspicious in his history. It seemed Yori and his colleagues did, but...
過去のことは過去のこと。もう終わった話だ。今の俺はひなぎくのもの。だろ？違うか？
It seems like whatever it is, he doesn't want you to know. I had grown up with him by my side. It was because we had been together for so long that I could be certain. Awayuki would never do such a thing. I spoke with such conviction that I thought I saw Ajiro flinch just a bit.
ご存知かどうかわかりませんけど、実は祭祀の日だけじゃなくて、その前日。幻冬祭の6日目にも例の事件は起きてました。
This was the first time I had heard of it. Even Suyakusa and Tobari, who heard plenty of news, had told me around noon that day that no incidents had been occurring lately.
現場は27区。その付近で、あなたの従者らしき男を見かけたっていう複数の証言があります。
I involuntarily gulped in response to what Ajiro said. That evening, Awayuki came home later than I did. Awayuki's appearance drew attention to him easily. It wasn't easy to mistake him for someone else.
じゃあ、正直に答えてくれる？幻冬祭の6日目、どこで何してたの？
Ajiro turned toward Awayuki once again.
その日、確かに所用があって、27区に行きました。
I think Awayuki is the type of person that, even if he was doing these things, he wouldn't be so careless as to get caught doing it. He seems like the type of person that could easily hide if he wanted to. In a calm tone, Awayuki admitted that he was near the scene of the crime.
ですが、疑われるようなことはしていません。どうすれば人間を突然燃やすなんて芸当ができるのか、俺には皆目見当もつきませんし。
じゃあ、なんでわざわざ西の橋町に？あんたの潔白を証明できる人は？
言いたくありません。
I don't wish to say. Oh.
へえ。
I know, right? Me and Ajiro had the same response. At Awayuki's curt response, Ajiro narrowed his eyes.
料理様から話は聞いたんだけど、あんた、花町の顔役と知り合いなんだって？
Is there any problem with that? I cut into the conversation and Jiro shrugged his shoulders.
知らぬいって聞いたことあります？反大樹を掲げてる困った連中なんすけど。黒鶴は、そいつらの首領が花町の顔役、Tobariなんじゃないかって睨んでるとこで。ここまで言えばわかりますよね。
He looked to me for agreement, then looked back at Awayuki.
そんな男とつながりがあるなんて、ますます怪しいじゃないですか。
Ajiro must have been annoyed by Awayuki's refusal to answer and let out an exhausted sigh.
素直に話す気はないみたいだけど、そういうのはあんたの立場を悪くするだけなんで。
There must be others aside from my attendant who were present at both the sermon and the outer district yesterday. Besides, the delegate of the entertainment district has many acquaintances. Isn't it negligent in your duty to conclude Awayuki's the culprit based on circumstantial evidence alone?
まあ、確たる証拠がないっていうのは、東郷の姫のおっしゃる通りっすね。
Joe's expression looked pain when I pointed it out. In a darker tone, he offered us a warning.
今日のところは引き下がりますけど、覚悟しといた方がいいっすよ。うちの上官、これと決めたいものは必ず仕留めてきた人なんで。
What he said didn't feel like an empty threat. In chapter 4, Yori has declared Awayuki the enemy. Let's go. After Ajiro left, Awayuki and I also left the mansion. Oh, where are you going? The streets in the central district, always bustling with bright energy, were abnormally devoid of most people. There were only a few to be seen whispering things to each other or shuffling along in a hurry. It's as if the entire town is scared. I would be too. Recently, things at Itehari had been growing stranger and stranger. I felt the primal rupture of our peaceful life after what happened at the sermon.
Hinagiku, 大丈夫か?
Yes, let's go, Awayuki. I didn't know when I had stopped, but I moved my feet again to head towards our destination. Okay, I was about to say Hinagetsu, but this looks different. Must be a different room. Where we were headed was Hanagetsu, where we quickly explained the situation to everyone. Hearing that I was at the sermon, Tsuyokusa looked restless with worry over me, his face turning a pale white. Aww. He's so worried.
あんたが無事で本当によかった。でも面倒なことになったね。
I think his route's going to be cute. His route is next. The atmosphere around the city was so heavy, it seems like everyone's afraid.
なあ、それは、
What is it, Tsuyokusa?
人が燃えるのは大樹の天罰じゃないかって噂になってたじゃん。実は祭祀の時に広場で燃えたのは不信心な者たちだって誰かが言い出して、あの噂が真実味を帯びちゃって、昨日の今日で一気に街中に広まった。
I see.
起きたのが凄惨な事件だからこそ、そこに何かの理由を求めてしまうのは人の性かもしれない。
皮肉な話だけど、竜英と大使の支持率は上がるかもね。ちょっとでも不信心だと燃やされちゃうかもしんないわけだし。まあ、つてをたどって確かめたけど、昨日の件で大使に怪我はなかったって聞いたよ。
Tsuyokusa smiled with relief as he spoke, and Yajiro tilted his head with wonder.
やっぱり大樹様が無事だと安心するもの？露草はあまり大樹信仰が強くない気がしていたんだけど。
まあ、やっぱり特別な存在だしね。ある意味身近でもあるしさ。大樹がいきなりいなくなると、いてはりは混乱するよ。神通力なんてなくても、そこにいる意味がある。
Awayuki was silent with a solemn look on his face while Yashiro tilted his head in the other direction.
でも、犯人の狙いが大樹様じゃなかったなんて、少し意外だね。
Huh? His unexpected remark caught me by surprise. Why do you think that?
大樹公は基本、近域から出てこない。わざわざ広場まで出てきてくれるなんて、千載一遇の好機だろ？ 突然前触れもなく人を燃やすことができる力があるんだよ。もし犯人が暗殺を目論んでいたら。
With no warning signs, yes, but probably takes some careful setup to do it though.
混乱に乗じていくらでも殺せたって。露草様。
Awayuki's like, you're talking very brash towards you. Awayuki frowned at the disrespectful remark. Yoshiro continued with a wry smile.
まあほら、理屈の話だよ。やろうと思えば、大樹様本人を燃やすこともできたんじゃないかってだけ。
I suppose that's true. Thinking back on it, there weren't any fires on stage or anywhere around the altar. Not only was the Great Taiju saved, but so were his associates. Either the culprit didn't intend on attacking the Great Taiju, or there was a reason that they couldn't.
今回の件とこれまでの調査でなんとなく犯人の狙いってか立ち位置みたいなもんが見えてきた気がするんだけど、俺だけ。
He glanced from side to side and responded that it could be... Okay, there's 3 of them. Okay. The choice is a Taiju devotee. Is that the target? It could be... the culprit's intentions and actual targets. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna say first random acts of violence, which is not the case. They're very targeted. It seems the perpetrator is just causing random acts of violence.
そうかな。俺は特に昨日の事件からは作為的なものを感じるよ。
I know, right?
祭祀中の広場で複数人を同時に燃やした。被害者は点在していたんだよね。なのに祭壇の周りに被害者はいない。
That's true. In other words, they weren't attacked indiscriminately. The perpetrator must have some criteria as to who their victims were. So, is this story time a part of the choice? Because we've already done this once. I want to go back and see what happens. Okay, they're gonna say they're targeting the Shiranui, which is not the case either. Why would they target themselves? It could be the Shiranui. So I started to speak. I thought about the idea and swallowed down what I was about to say. No, that doesn't seem right.
俺もそう思う。帳を信用できるとかそういう話じゃなくてね。
俺も同じ意見です。これまでの犯行はかえって白縫いの潔白を証明しているように見えます。
I forgot the Shiranui are not the ones responsible for this. They're going back to story time? Okay, good. Let's go back up. Okay, I'm gonna say Taiju devotee. Is that the target or is that the culprits? I don't know. I'm still not sure, but maybe it was done by someone devoted to the Great Taiju, someone who idolizes him. I couldn't imagine it being orchestrated by anyone with anti-Taiju sentiments like the Shiranui. Fear of the Great Taiju has swept the entire city since yesterday, right? Judging by the results, they seem to have enforced the authority of the Great Taiju.
ああ、俺もそう思う。
Awayuki nodded deeply in response to my suggestion. I sorted out in my head all the incidents that had happened so far. All throughout Itehari in the western, eastern, southern, and northern quadrants, and in the castle, central, and outer districts, residents have suddenly burst into flames. The victims came from different backgrounds, but the one thing they all had in common was...
うちの区で燃えたやつが 実は白縫いの一員だったらしくて。
Oh.
最近、四区の貴族様も燃えたらしいじゃないですか。その方、白縫いに協力的だったんで、天罰が下ったんじゃないかって話も聞きましたよ。
They're burning down his
被害者
people.
は反大樹寄りの人間だった。
They're burning down Tobari supporters.
犯人は無差別に人を燃やしていて、偶然に被害者が偏ったというわけじゃない。
これまではまだその可能性もあったけど、昨日の事件ではっきりしたよね。
はい。あの状況からは、犯人に大樹公を傷つけるつもりはない。もしくは、傷つけたくないという意図が感じられます。
犯人が大樹様を信仰しているのは確定かな。まあ、このItehariだとそれはとても普遍的な価値観なんだけど。
Right. But just as Ajira said, it wouldn't be an ordinary citizen who could do something like this. If that's the case, there must be something special that, just then, the door to the first floor opened and I heard a voice.
どうも、半月堂の主人はご在宅かな。ある人の使いで来たんだ。
When it said just then, I was totally expecting a cliffhanger because that's how these things work. I don't recognize his voice. I quickly turned to Tsuyakusa. He didn't seem to recognize him either, shaking his head with a puzzled look on his face. Oh. Oh, he has a face? Oh my goodness. Most people don't have faces. At the sight of Tsuyakusa descending the stairs, the young man's eyes widened in surprise.
飴色の髪に日の瞳。あいつの言ってた通りだ。こんなに人の血が濃く出てる人は初めて見たよ。
A foreigner? Is Tsuyakusa a foreigner?
君が半月堂だろ。俺は塩地という。今日は帳の使いできた。
Oh. Oh, really? Tobari?
こんにちは、お姫様。実は今、花町に黒鶴が来てまして。おかげで商売上がったりなんですが、それはともかく、どうやら連中は白縫いを一網打尽にしたいらしい。
Replied to Shoji, feeling somewhat uneasy. It seems the Kurozuru already knows that Tobari is the leader of the Shiranui.
ええ、俺たちがつかませた情報ですね。
Oh, okay then. What?
白縫いは身分が低い連中がほとんどで、何かあればまともな裁きもなしに神隠しに遭います。その点、帳には黒鶴も手を出しにくい。顔役にはそれなりに特権がありますから。
なるほど。自分たちを守るために、帳一人を盾にしたわけだ。
There was an unusual tone of criticism in Awayuki's voice.
もちろん、帳も納得してのことだよ。何もあいつを売ろうってわけじゃない。俺にとっては大事な弟分だしね。
それで、塩地はどうしてここに？使いというからには何かあるんだろ？
帳はしばらく花町を出ない。もちろん、君たちとも連絡を取れない。と伝えるように頼まれた。
Not looking anxious in the slightest, Shioji gave a small smile.
こういう内情に踏み込んだ話をしないなら、鳥に手紙を運ばせれば事足りるんだけど。今回は内容が内容だ。万が一にでも手紙を途中で黒鶴に回収されたらおしまいだから、俺が直接来たんだ。
言葉は証拠が残らないからか。
そういうこと。向こうに強引な手を使う名目を与えるわけにはいかないからね。
That's pretty smart. I wouldn't. I know, right? If the bird got intercepted on the way to them, they'd all be in trouble. I understood what Shioji was saying, but My sense of unease still hadn't alleviated, so I decided to address it. Don't you think it's still strange?
どういう意味でしょう、お姫様。
They're trying to capture Tobari now, even after the fires set by the Shiranui have ceased for a while. Kurozudu should be investigating the incidents of the people being set on fire instead, right? It's because it's Yori and he hates these people. He's being selfish. After staying silent with a dismayed look on his face, Shojui spoke again with the same expression on his face.
思い当たる節があります。できれば、外れていてほしい予想ですが。黒鶴は、人体発火事件もまた、白縫の仕業だったことにする気なんじゃないかと。
What?
帳を食材のヤギに仕立てるつもりってこと？
Something to easily cover up, right?
そうです。
正直、どうかしてると思うけど、否定はできないね。黒鶴も竜英も早急に犯人を挙げたいはずです。祭祀の場で大規模な事件が起きたんだから、なおさら。
If they're trying to make him into the scapegoat, then why are they going after Awayuki too? I don't understand.
ひとまず白縫に罪を着せて、犯人を捕まえたことにして、自分たちのメンツを守ろうって魂胆でしょ。
But it's followers of the Shiranui who have died. The people of the city wouldn't possibly believe.
例えば彼らが出資を拒むようになったとか、内部で意見の相違があっただとか、白縫が協力者を殺したとか、理由ならいくらでも適当に作れる。
Can't be. The Kurozudu was an organization that upheld order in Itehari. Not long ago, I would never have thought the Kurozudu was capable of such a thing, but now...
まあ白縫を潰せば、どちらにしろItehariの不穏分子は減ることになります。彼らにとっては手間を減らして、かつ今欲しい結果も得られるわけですね。
Shirji shrugged his shoulders in defeat.
じゃあ、淡雪も大変だよね。
Yes, please enlighten us. It gave a start at Yoshida's remark. The Kurozudu suspect Awayuki too. They've mentioned his association with Tobari.
なるほどね。淡雪は白縫の一員で、人を燃やしてたんだよってことにすると、理屈が通っちゃうじゃん。
Okay, it makes more sense now. I forgot they associated with him with Tobari. Yeah, if he is under Tobari and with his skilled expertise, he could be easily the one doing it. Then we have to hurry and find the real culprit. It's not as if I wasn't worried about Tobari and his followers too, but when it came to Awayuki, I just couldn't sit still anymore. We can't let Awayuki be spirited away. After I spoke, Tsuyakusa spoke in a low murmur.
神隠しで済めばいいけどね。
I know, they'd probably just execute him. Huh?
聞いたことくらいはあるんじゃない。滞在人は処刑されるんだよ。戦火送りで済まないくらいの罪を犯した人間は、人々の前で殺される。
There were indeed records of such events in history textbooks. An archaic punishment for severe crimes now mostly forgotten. Watching me as I gripped my hands into shaking fish, Yoji narrowed his eyes.
俺は伝えるべきことを伝えたので、今日はこれで帰ります。
I know, don't be seen here, get lost.
次からも自分が来るかは分かりませんが、白縫は皆さんと手を組みましたから。今後も情報提供は続けていくつもりです。もし何かあれば、鳥で連絡してください。
Or come in person? Don't get messenger birds caught. Shioji bowed to us, then opened the doors of the Hinagiku and departed. Surprise, Yori's here.
じゃあ、念のためというか、改めて聞いておきたいんだけど、いい？
If it's okay, yes.
淡雪は犯人なの？事件が起きたとき、27区で何をしていたのかな？
Just come out. Are you the culprit? Yashiro. Though I guess Awayuki responded, seemingly undisturbed.
答えたくない。
I don't wish to answer. Why is he pleading the fifth? I don't understand. Why? You're so suspicious now. You're among friends and you're saying, I wish to not answer. I plead the fifth. Oh my goodness. Who are you? What are you doing?
答えるだけで疑いが晴れるかもしれないのに。俺たちに言えない事情でもある。
Yakuza continued in support of Yashiro's questioning.
ま、今の状況だと疑われて当然だよ。隠し事があるみたいだし、怪しいじゃん。
I know. What are you not telling us? Everyone has things they want to keep to themselves. Awayuki isn't the culprit, so we don't need to know what he was doing that day. You do need to know. If you're going to prove him innocent, you have to know. It seemed Yashiro wasn't satisfied with my answer, frowning as he spoke in a sharp tone.
姫様って自分の従者を信じすぎじゃない？
俺もそう思う。
Of course he does. Huh? I couldn't hide my surprise at Awayuki's unexpected betrayal.
ま、淡雪は平和主義っていうか、政治に関わりたくないタイプなのはわかる。付き合いもそこそこ長いし。大樹を崇拝してるわけでもなさそうだし、必要がなければ人なんて燃やさないって。
Yeah, he didn't seem like he was a Taiju worshiper as well. He wouldn't set anyone on fire if he didn't have to. Didn't have to. My goodness.
必要があれば燃やすんだ。
So if he was told to, would he? I don't know. Hurry up and deny it already.
わかった。淡雪のことはもういいよ。
Ishiro let out a tired sigh and turned to me to ask a question.
じゃあ姫様。祭祀の場で人が燃えたとき、何か気づいたことはある？
Anything I noticed? When I tried to recall the details, the memories of the flames flickering behind my eyelids chilled me to my fingertips.
姫に事件を思い出させるようなことを聞かないでほしいんだが。
It brings back traumatic memories.
ヤシロって割と無神経だよね。
え？いや、大事なことだろ？
It's fine. He's right. It is important. I smiled at the two who were criticizing Yashiro, then turned my attention back to recalling yesterday's tragedy. The Great Taiju appeared and the crowd grew silent, and then there was a bomb. There was. Oh. I'm not sure if it's related at all, but I thought I heard a strange sound.
音？
Right, a clanging sound like a metal striking metal.
そう。他には何かある？
There was the smell of people burning. It was a really distinct smell.
独特？
Like they were doused in kerosene. I'm not sure how to describe it. Maybe pungent. It stung my nose when I smelt it. Suddenly, Awayuki interjected with a serious look on his face.
人が焼けるときは、そんな匂いじゃない。
Huh?
服を着ているんだから、布が燃えるような、いわゆる焦げた匂いがすると思うよ。それから、豚でも牛でも何でもいいんだけど、肉が焼けるような匂いがすると思う。
I know he's doing a comparison, but that's kind of insensitive. The smell of burning flesh, like pork or beef.
人間も動物だからね。そこはそう変わらない。
You're making it worse, man. I see. It was true. The smell I experienced wasn't anything like that.
音？それに、匂い？
Tsukusa began to murmur to himself as if trying to gather his thoughts. After some time, Tsukusa mentioned he wanted some time to think, so in order to make sure we didn't bother him, Awayuki and I quickly left Hanagetsu. With the western sky growing red in the corner of my eye, the two of us walked down the road.
Hinagiku.
Awayuki looked at me, addressing me without stopping, yet in a rigid tone.
姫は、俺が犯人じゃないと、迷わず信じてくれたよな。
Love is blind. Of course I did. I never doubted you before. It was because I had unwavering faith in him that I was able to assert that with a smile. No matter what I do, even if the day comes when Itehari falls from the sky, you'd still be by my side to the very end, wouldn't you, Awayuki? That's why I'll trust in you too, Awayuki, forever, no matter what. Oh. Awayuki narrowed his eyes as if something were blinding him, then laughed before poking a little fun at me.
従者の心がよくわかる。いい主人に育ってくれてよかった。
Haven't I? Doesn't that make you want to stay by my side forever now?
調子に乗るな。そんなの、昔から思ってるに決まってる。
Stop pushing her away. Dang. Awayuki's smile seemed so dazzling to me that I could practically hear my heart pounding. I'm certain I could never marry Yori while still feeling this way. But even if I never married anyone, it didn't mean Awayuki would ever see me in the same way as I saw him. Love between a noble and a commoner was forbidden in Itehari. However, at the very least, I hope he can stay beside me as my attendant. That would make me really happy. Aw, that's adorable. It was no cliffhanger this time. What is this game coming to? Feelings of a bright silver. Feelings, huh? I wonder if we're gonna have some more confessions in the next one. I'm happy. It wasn't a cliffhanger. No more worrying. Still, I feel bad for Hinagiku. She won't acknowledge her feelings. She feels like that he doesn't think the same way. If only you weren't so drunk and you could have remembered it. Whatever. Fine, I guess. Anyway, that's the end of this chapter. It's over an hour and a half. It's going to take me forever to edit, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like down below and or subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.